For decades, the Ford F-150 has been an undisputed icon of the American automotive industry, a true standard-bearer of hard work, strength, and reliability. However, the arrival of the hybrid version promised a leap into the future, a truck capable of maintaining the characteristic power of the F-150, but with greater efficiency, better fuel economy, and a clear nod to the sustainability that today's market demands. The problem is that what was supposed to be a revolution has turned into controversy. The Ford F-150 Hybrid, with a reliability score of just 19 out of 100, has set off all the alarms. The promises of efficiency and modernity seem to clash with an uncomfortable reality: recurring failures in the hybrid system, transmission problems, and a user experience very different from what Ford had intended to sell. In this analysis, we will dive into the good, the bad, and the ugly of this truck, exploring its virtues, but also criticizing without filters the weak points that are tarnishing the reputation of a model that should have been an example of evolution. The F-150 Hybrid combines a 3.5-liter V6 engine with an electric system that delivers more than 400 horsepower. On paper, it is an attractive proposition, a truck with enough power to tow, haul, and handle highways with authority, while offering better fuel efficiency compared to its gasoline-only counterparts. The hybrid system also opens the door to unique functions, such as using the truck as a power generator for electric tools, camping equipment, or even in household emergencies. Without a doubt, these features represent added value and have been the main appeal for those seeking a versatile and technologically advanced vehicle. In terms of price, the Ford F-150 Hybrid starts in a range close to $45,000, depending on the trim level and equipment packages selected. This places it in a competitive bracket within the large truck market, especially considering the advantage represented by its hybrid system. However, this is where the cracks begin to show. Despite the high cost, quality, and reliability issues have tarnished its reputation. Users have reported electronic failures, software errors controlling the interaction between the gasoline engine and the electric motor, as well as difficulties with the automatic transmission that, instead of providing smooth and reliable handling, produces jerks, vibrations, and unexpected power loss. Specialized critics have not been lenient. Various reports indicate that Ford rushed the release of this hybrid version in order not to fall behind competitors that were already introducing their own electric and hybrid technologies. That haste may have resulted in an incomplete product, where real durability tests were not up to the standard a customer expects from a heavy-duty work vehicle. And this is where the contrast becomes harsher. A truck that should be synonymous with toughness ends up showing vulnerabilities at the very moments when reliability is needed most. Not everything is negative, and it would be unfair not to recognize the progress made. The F-150 Hybrid offers a comfortable interior, with good quality materials and connectivity technology that place it among the most modern in its category. The infotainment system, the integration with Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as well as the driver assistance features, show that Ford has made a serious effort to keep the F-150 at the forefront. In addition, the fuel savings compared to gasoline-only versions are real, especially in urban trips, where the hybrid system can take advantage of energy regeneration. Even so, the gap between what was promised and what was delivered is simply too wide. For an American consumer who chooses an F-150 expecting a solid truck capable of lasting for years without major complications, it is disappointing to face reports of costly failures in a practically new vehicle. And here lies the ugly part of the story: the feeling that the brand, in its eagerness to innovate, set aside the most important aspect of any work vehicle: reliability. A truck that won't start, that stalls unexpectedly, or that fails in the middle of a task, no matter how many screens or how much horsepower it has, stops being useful and becomes a burden. The blow for Ford is severe because we're talking about its flagship model, the best-selling vehicle for decades in the United States. A true cultural symbol. If the F-150 fails, it's not just another model with issues, it's a crack in the brand's reputation. This forces a reflection on the urgent need to invest more in research, durability testing, and quality control before rushing innovations to market. The American public is willing to pay more for a reliable product, but not at the expense of peace of mind, especially not in exchange for technological promises that don't work as they should. The conclusion is harsh. the Ford F-150 hybrid offers the strengths of power, technological capability, and modern design, but the bad and the ugly outweigh the good. Its poor reliability score and the wave of criticism from both users and experts position it as a risky purchase. This is a lesson for Ford and for the entire industry. The transition to hybrid and electric vehicles must be handled responsibly, without compromising the qualities that made these trucks great in the first place. Because there is no point in promising the future if that future arrives burdened with frustration for those who put their money, their work, and their trust into a truck that is supposed to deliver, always. The story of the F-150 is the story of the evolution of the modern pickup. Since its launch in 1948 as part of the F-Series, this model has constantly adapted to market shifts and consumer demands. In its early decades, it was a purely utilitarian vehicle designed for farmers, builders, and workers who needed a reliable ally for everyday tasks. Over time, the F-150 began incorporating greater comfort, better equipment, and more refined finishes, until it became a truck that blends work with family comfort, load capacity with social status, and ruggedness with cutting-edge technology. That ability to adapt largely explains why the F-150 has maintained its leadership for over 40 consecutive years as the best-selling vehicle in the United States. Today, the arrival of hybrid and electric versions marks a new chapter in this story. The U.S. market is in the midst of a transition, where demand for more efficient and sustainable vehicles intersects with the need to preserve the strength and versatility that define pickups. The Ford F-150 hybrid represents this attempt to move forward without abandoning its roots, though as we've seen, it's not free of criticism and reliability concerns. At the same time, the debut of the F-150 Lightning, the fully electric version, seeks to prove that Ford can lead in this new era of mobility as well. The Lightning has generated significant expectations, not only for its range and power, but also because it introduces functions that redefine what a truck can be. From powering a house during outages to becoming a technological hub on wheels, the future of hybrid and electric F-150s depends on Ford's ability to perfect the technology and ensure that the failures that have tarnished the hybrid's reputation are not repeated. The North American consumer does not want an experimental truck. They want a vehicle ready to work from day one, reliable, durable, and able to justify every dollar invested. To achieve this, Ford must strike a balance between innovation and tradition, between sustainability and capability, between modernity and ruggedness. That balance will determine whether the F-150 remains a leader in the era of electrification or cedes ground to more aggressive competitors. Ultimately, for the United States to regain the industrial automotive strength it once had, Ford and other brands must approach the transition to electric and hybrid vehicles with seriousness, without sacrificing the quality that made the industry great in the first place. The path will not be easy, but the legacy of the F-150 proves that when the brand commits to well-executed innovation, it can set trends and consolidate leadership. The F-150, in any of its forms, remains a symbol of the American spirit, but now it is called upon to prove that it can also be a symbol of the future.